All right, today we are diving deep into the high-stakes drama that's unfolding around one of crypto's most important privacy coins, Zcash. We're talking internal conflict, massive market panic, and a really fundamental debate about the future of anonymity itself. So, let's get right into it. So get this. In just the past week, Zcash has absolutely cratered, down over 40%. While a ton of the crypto market has been seeing green, Zcash has been in a total freefall. This is not just some minor dip, you know? It's a massive sell-off that has everybody asking the same exact question.
So what is going on here? Is this a death spiral for a project that was once a pioneer? Or is this just some extreme volatility before the next huge move up? Well, that's what we're going to figure out. We're going to unpack this whole crisis, really understand the tech, and then look at what the pros are watching next.
Okay, first up, let's break down the immediate reasons for this market collapse. Because look, this didn't just happen out of nowhere. This was a perfect storm of really bad news and some tricky market dynamics all hitting at the exact same time.
So it all kicked off with this major governance clash. The electric coin company, you might know them as ECC, they're one of the main development teams behind Zcash, and they just announced they were stepping away. That news sent immediate shockwaves through the community, and it triggered a panic sell-off. Now here's the really interesting part. For months, one of Zcash's biggest strengths was its negative correlation to Bitcoin. So when Bitcoin went down, Zcash went up. But now, with Bitcoin rallying, that same exact trait has become a huge weakness. And the result? Well, buying pressure has basically vanished. It fell off a cliff, collapsing by a staggering 97%.
To really get what's at stake here, though, we need to zoom out a bit and look at what Zcash is and, well, why it was even created in the first place. You gotta understand, this wasn't just another copy-paste Bitcoin. It was built on a revolutionary promise of true, real digital privacy.
So at its core, Zcash is built on Bitcoin's foundation, but it has this crucial upgrade, a layer of anonymity that's powered by some seriously advanced cryptography called zk-SNARKs. The easiest way to think about it is imagine being able to prove you know a secret password without ever having to actually say the password out loud. That's kind of what this tech does. It lets transactions be verified as legit without revealing who sent it, who received it, or how much was sent. I mean, that's a huge leap forward for privacy.
And its history is just as fascinating, as you can see right here. It launched back in 2016 after this super secretive ceremony to create its master key. A year later, even JP Morgan was integrating its tech. And then in 2018, it became the first privacy coin ever to get the green light from those really strict New York regulators. But wait, the biggest bombshell of all? That didn't drop until 2022.
It was revealed that one of the 6 original participants in that secret ceremony, who was only known by the pseudonym John Dauberton, was actually Edward Snowden. I mean, wow. His involvement really highlighted the project's deep roots in the whole cypherpunk movement and its serious commitment to creating a true alternative to traditional finance.
So Snowden's involvement really speaks to those hardcore cypherpunk ideals of pure privacy. But here's where things get a little complicated. Zcash was built with a core design choice that leads to this weird paradox, what we're calling the paradox of optional anonymity.
You see, Zcash gives its users a choice. You can send a transparent transaction, which is totally public, totally traceable, just like a Bitcoin transaction. Or you can send a shielded transaction, which uses that zk-SNARK magic to encrypt all the details and make it completely private. So here's the crucial point. Privacy is not on by default. You actually have to choose it.
And, well, you can see exactly how that plays out right here. While shielded adoption has grown, we're at about 59% of the Zcash supply now being private, which is great, a huge 41% is still transparent. And that creates this kind of split network. The fact that so much activity is still public has some major implications.
This design choice really comes into focus when you put it side by side with its biggest rival, Monero. See, Monero makes privacy mandatory. Every single transaction is private, period. Zcash's optional model, on the other hand, is a lot more friendly to regulators and compliance, and that's given it better access to exchanges. But that access comes at the cost of perfect, default anonymity. It's a fundamental trade-off, and it's at the heart of this whole debate.
So with this crisis going on and this fundamental trade-off baked right into its DNA, the market is now fiercely divided. We have 2 completely opposite stories playing out about Zcash's future. You've got the bear case and you've got the bull case.
First, let's look at the bears. Their take, the party's over. They argue that Zcash has already hit a major cycle top, and a much deeper fall is on the way.
And they've got a lot of ammo for this argument. The technical charts are showing what's called a bearish divergence. That's when the price hits a new high, but the momentum indicators don't follow. It's a classic warning sign. On top of that, derivatives data shows that more and more traders are betting on a price drop. And like we talked about that negative correlation to Bitcoin, it's flipped from a superpower into a serious weakness.
So for the bears, the line in the sand is crystal clear. A decisive break below the $300 support level would, in their view, confirm that a brand new bear cycle has started, and that opens the door for a much deeper collapse.
But then you have the bulls, and they see a completely different picture. For them, this isn't a collapse at all. They argue it's a healthy, necessary retest of a major breakout level, a classic buying opportunity before the next big leg up.
The bulls are quick to point out that the price is still holding above that crucial $300 to $320 breakout zone. They're saying the long-term structure is still bullish, and this is just a pullback. They also point to fresh institutional confidence. I mean, Foundry, one of the world's biggest Bitcoin mining operators, just launched a dedicated Zcash mining pool. That's a big deal. And with so many short sellers piling in, the liquidity data suggest the conditions are absolutely perfect for a massive short squeeze to the upside.
For the bulls, the target is ambitious for sure. If Zcash can hold this support and turn things around, they see a clear path not just to a recovery, but to a new major upside target around the $500 level.
So we've got two compelling but totally opposite arguments. So what should you actually be watching? Well, it really all boils down to three critical price levels that will likely decide Zcash's fate in the short term. Keep your eyes on these three numbers. First, that support floor, right around $300. If we see a sustained drop below that, the bears are in control. Second, the battleground, around $370. Analysts are seeing this as the pivot point that's going to set the immediate trend. And finally, the recovery line, around $426. For the bulls to really be back in the driver's seat, they absolutely need to reclaim and hold that level.
Which brings us to our final question. And this one gets to the very heart of the entire project. This whole struggle with Zcash, it's more than just lines on a chart, right? It's a battle of ideas. In a world with more and more surveillance every single day, is having optional privacy a brilliant feature that helps with adoption, or is it a fatal flaw that compromises the entire promise of anonymity? That is the paradox at the heart of Zcash. Let me know what you think. Thanks for joining us.